Eric the Car Guy here with another episode that's all over the place. Today we're going to talk about suspension. In particular, we have a 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I seem to see this a lot on these. There's certain parts of the suspension get worn out, and the steering wheel gets kind of loose as you drive down the road. I'll show you what causes it, and I'll show you how to fix it right now. Okay, so say you're driving down the road in your Jeep Grand Cherokee, and you're having to move the steering wheel back and forth quite a bit in order to keep the car going straight down the road. And you're doing this, and it's not affecting the steering at all. You're just moving the wheel back and forth in order to stay straight. Leave the key in the ignition in the on position. You don't need to start it before you start. That will help. What you do to check this is grab the wheel and move it from side to side. And try up and down too. Are you seeing the amount of play?
Yes, I am. What happens when those finally break? Do I lose all steering control?
Yes.
That is your
steering.
I would just cargo down the road.
Kind of.
This is a good preventative maintenance.
But the faster you're going, actually the straighter you'll stay.
Oh yeah. Don't slow down.
Just hit the gas. The minute you hit the brakes, it's all over. Okay, the first part of the operation, everything goes better with a little bit of lube. Just soak that thing down. Same with the other side. Now while that soaks in, get your cotter pins out. Now you want to get your cotter pin out. You can always move the wheel to put it into a better position. And if it doesn't come out, no sweat. So you can always just break it off. Important to make sure that you're all the way down on the nut. It's starting to spin the whole assembly inside of here, so pneumatic tools are usually the way to go. I might have to get a bigger one. I win! We get that out of there by using Mr. Ugly Hammer. And don't hit this, hit what it goes through. Anytime you're trying to get suspension parts apart, hit what it goes through. Now, once again, like the other side, and using leverage here. Just grab the side of something and pull it. Cotter pin away. Take this guy off. Yeah, we're gonna hit it. Okay, one thing you want to make sure of before you really go any further is that you have the correct parts. Now you notice there's a certain curve to this here on this one, and you want to make sure your new part has that same curve. And the other side, as you can see, has a different curve. You don't want to mix them up. You want to make sure that they're the correct things going in the correct places. So, parts are all like they should be. We'll start with this one here. Now whenever you do this, you're going to have to do an alignment, and the reason is because your steering wheel is going to be off, but more important than that, what will happen is when you make all these parts right, your tires may be pointed in or pointed out. If you drive down the road like this, that angle of alignment is called toe, and it is the worst tire wearing angle. So you want to make sure your toe is correct. If not, it's going to chew up your tires. So you may be fixing your suspension, but you may be screwing up your tires in doing this. So you want to make sure that when you've done this, you've done an alignment. To keep yourself from, or to keep these parts in as close to the same position as they were when you started, what I do is I count the number of threads that are from the collar here to the end here. And that way I know the measurement is pretty much close to the same. So I'm going to count the threads coming out from the top here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you want basically to make sure that your new part is sticking out roughly 13 of these. So we can take the old one apart by loosening this nut, which basically puts a pinch on this whole thing. Now what I'm going to do here is use a little bit of leverage. If I can get my vise to stay put. And I'm going to take my wrench and put it on the outside end of this and see if I can work it loose. Alright, things that are metal get old, they rust, and then they don't want to come apart. But here's the great equalizer. Nice, pretty blue flame, what we're looking for. We want to heat around the outside here. We want to heat what it's going through so that it expands. That's the whole point of heating it. So this will get bigger, so this will come out easy. Just try to just ease in and heat around the whole thing to start with. And you may see your penetrating oil going up in flames. So good, it's okay, it'll go away. Once it starts moving, it usually keeps moving. Now we're on the other side, and you'll notice that the opposite side turns in the opposite direction. And the reason for this is as they're doing an alignment, they just turn this centerpiece here. And as the centerpiece turns, it changes the effective length of the whole assembly. So one side gets shorter, one side also gets shorter, and then you turn it in the opposite direction, they both get wider. So that's the reason why you will be turning one side clockwise to remove it, and then the other side counterclockwise. And make sure you put the correct one in. Okay, now before we put it on the car, these particular ends have accommodations for zerk fittings, which you can inject grease into these, which will keep them from failing. I'm not going to tighten these until I get it back on the car. Now that you've got the assembly all together, you can put it back together in reverse order. Always install new cotter pins. Now, grease up the new joints until you see the boot start to puff out. There you go. After this, what you want to do is drive almost directly to a shop to get the car aligned, because the steering wheel will be off, but also more importantly, it may wear the tires at an accelerated rate. So be aware of that. As always, you can visit me at EricTheCarGuy.com. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below as a video or text response. I'm Eric the Car Guy. Stay dirty.